All right, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, I am Margaret Kobos. I'm very, very happy to be here. I've met you, Jenny, running for governor.
Yes.
I met you at the rally. I was the one, if you were there, I was just looking gross and handing out Vote Yes 836 stickers. And so I'm happy if I met you, and I'm sad if I did not. Because this is a project I've been working on for almost 5 years now, since January 6th, and so what you're going to see is really a product of that. I actually even was on a live stream thing with Taz years ago. Probably doesn't remember. He was in Oklahoma City. It was some kind of voter registration thing with the League of Women Voters, and here's my problem. I want everybody to vote. Oklahoma is last in the country in voter turnout. That is shameful. And, by the way, 50% of us only 50% are registered Republican. Only 50% of us are registered Republican. So in January 6th, I woke up and I thought, well, where is everybody else? Where is the other 50% of Oklahoma? And why are we not voting? And why are we continuing this strange paradigm of, people who do not serve us, people who are not connected to voters, this extreme apathy? I spend a lot of time, I guess that was that COVID rabbit hole thing, but I've spent a lot of time researching the psychology of apathy and why are people not voting, and how, when we talk about we want to get along, do we really want to get along? I think we want things to happen. I think that we have, a desire for balance and forward motion for our state. We know that we have not been well served. We know that we're last in education. We know that we're top 10 or top 5 really in domestic violence. We all know that we want safe schools that are well funded. That's been not prioritized at all for my entire life. And I'm personally, January 7th, I decided somebody had to do something about all this. And so I looked around and I could not find anyone really evaluating the why and an action plan for how to address what I view as a systemic problem. So we have a really serious kind of disconnection here in Oklahoma between voters. We don't love our elected representatives. We've tried an ethics commission. We've tried term limits. We've tried all kinds of things. They don't seem to have any effect. The state legislature polls in the 30% favorability all the time. We don't like them, but we keep electing them, and we seem to not have any good alternatives. So, from that, I decided that I would start researching it. I would try to look into best ideas that anyone else might have had, because I realize I'm not, I'm new to this. I'm a lawyer by training, but I am not a political person. I'm not interested in politics. I'm interested in being a voter. That's all I want to do. I want to vote, I want to have choices, and I want to move on. And I want the roads fixed, and I want great schools, and I want teachers that can afford to, pay their bills. And I want public safety. I want all these things that I think we all kind of want. So I asked some political friends what I should do about it. They said, well, you should write an op-ed. So I did that, and then I said, now what? And they said, well, now you should form a C4. And so I did that. And so I formed Oklahoma United in January, February of 2021, and we went from zero, well, I guess me, and my mother, who was on the incorporation document. And we went from that to today we have over almost 11,000 supporters in our database. So it's been a great journey. We've accomplished a lot. Taz was talking about being a movement. About a year ago or so, one of my lead team members, a volunteer, said, you've got to start recognizing that you are a movement, and this is how movements work. And so I started kind of learning and understanding how that process works. So it's been a great intellectual exercise for me, but the point is to get something done. Because like Jenny, I feel like something, how hard can it be, really, honestly? It's probably going to be on my tombstone, but how hard can it be? If you get the right people around you, and you have a mission, and you really think about it, and do your research and your planning, it's just like baking a cake. You just break it down into steps, and that's where we are with this state question. So I'm going to deliver the information about the state question, so we all know what it is tonight. And then, of course, if you have any questions, I'd love to take those. So, let's see if I can get down there. All right. So on the first slide, you saw every voter should matter in every election. Basically, that's kind of our mantra. Currently in Oklahoma, as you know, we have a closed primary system. I'll get into the research that shows why that is a bad idea and not healthy, and has brought us where we are today. But I think the starting point is we are where we are right now, and the system that we have has brought us here. So if we want anything to be different, we need to look at the system and ask questions and think, why are we doing this way? Right now in a closed primary, obviously Democrats allow independents to vote in theirs. That is a choice. It can be rescinded every odd numbered year. They have their committee meetings and they determine on their own, are they going to allow independents the right to vote? I happen to think, I'm not an independent, but I feel like the right to vote should just be the right to vote. And it should not be conditioned on affiliation with a private organization. So we believe in that. I don't know if that's controversial. We notice also that this summer, the Libertarians have decided in the future election to open their primaries to independents. Now, that is great, but it is not a level playing field. So State Question 836 would create a system, a primary election system, that is the same rule for everyone. Here we go. No, we're not. Sorry. Something is going on. There we go. Oh, nope. Okay. Wow. It must have been thinking. Hang on. Sorry. I was doing so well. All right. Okay. So, what is the problem with a closed primary? Primary elections are decided by a handful of voters and exclude hundreds of thousands of voters. Right now, independents are the fastest growing group of voters. It's hard to find anyone under the age of 40 who is registering in a party these days. They all want to be independent. I'm not going to try to explain that, but I'm okay with it. As long as they register to vote, I don't care what anybody does. Right now we have about 500,000 independent registered voters in Oklahoma. The total population of voters is about 25% Democrat, 20% independent, and the rest are Republicans. And there's a tiny sliver of libertarians. So these independents obviously are locked out of decisions. We also know that over 95% of offices are filled prior to general elections, which is before everyone can vote. So that would explain why we're getting some strange results in our elections that we don't understand. This is why we're getting those results. Voters are forced to affiliate with a party just to vote. leads to forced disenfranchisement, because then you have to kind of decide, am I going to vote for sheriff, or am I going to vote for state representative? You may not, you just have to affiliate with a party. There are lots of people in this room, probably, who look at the upcoming elections and who's available to vote for, and you are making a decision to, maybe I'm going to change my registration, and then I'll change back. And why are we doing this? It just doesn't make sense. So the closed primary cycle, it produces low turnout. The candidates focus on extreme issues and extreme wings of their parties. There's then no ability to build consensus, and the public loses trust. A loss of trust leads to low turnout. That's what we call apathy. Again, being last in voter turnout is definitely not a healthy thing. I am still doing it. So, try that one. Gosh.
Margaret, there's something open on your laptop that's playing for these speakers too. Is it?
Hell, it won't go away.
I heard that, but I don't have anything open and playing, so I can't explain that. It was going when the other person was
was
plugged
it?
in. Yeah.
That's what the library said.
You have two mics on. You have the podium mic and you have the other mic.
Is it acting up again?
Yeah, it is.
Are there arrow keys aren't working?
No, they're not.
I wonder why. Is there a cap box or anything on? Is
I don't
there a
know.
lock
Does
on?
someone want to help
Is there a
me?
number lock?
What on earth? Okay. All right, I don't know. Okay, lowest turnout in the country in 2020, that got my attention. The statistics actually fell further in 2024, still 50th in the US. So, not ideal. Man, this is weird.
Try your space bar.
Yeah.
Maybe really low water
maybe
line.
Okay, thank you.
Space bar? Good.
Space bar. Okay, November elections are virtually meaningless in 2022. 168 offices that filed with the state election board, and only 7 had anything that would be considered a competitive November election. So this is kind of also part of the problem with the closed primary. There aren't enough contested elections, and the parties are obviously libertarian, but also Democrat, and even some Republicans cannot fill the slate. So when we are talking about closed primaries, and people might say, but we want to have these one-on-one kind of choices, we're not getting them right now in Oklahoma. We're just not getting them. People are not running for office, and the parties aren't able to recruit anyone to do it. So, try the space bar again. All right. In 2024, the state legislature, only 6 of them had a competitive election in November. None of the county sheriffs had a competitive election in November, and only 1 of other county offices. This is a typical Oklahoma jurisdiction. This happens to be a Oklahoma CD2, that's Josh Burkeen's district. Every district has about 800,000 residents. These are all the smiley people. Each one is about 10,000. Well, each one represents 10,000 of those residents. In that case, there were these people who are not registered to vote at all. These are the people in that district that are not registered. Then there are these people who are not eligible to vote in a Republican primary, and that district is designed to have a Republican outcome, right? So those people are not able to affect it at all. then these people are Republicans who did not vote. Now, my consultant says that they're snoozing or they just didn't bother to vote. I would say there are a lot of Republicans who don't like those choices and they're choosing not to vote. So I think that that's a little bit of a tricky statistic. Then these are people who did not vote in the runoff. He had a runoff. Then these are people who voted for the winning candidate, those yellow smiley faces, and the grumpy people voted for the loser. He ended up winning with just a very small sliver of, like 24,000 people out of 800,000 voted for Josh Burkeen, okay? That's how we get what we have. This is an example of the same thing in a Democrat-dominated district. House District 97, 500 residents, and only this small number voted for the winner. Then 2022 state treasurer, same kind of thing. You can see 50,000 residents and only these three smiley faces, voted for that person. Carter County Sheriff, there was a tie in Carter County. That was the only contested sheriff's race in 2024. And the law in Oklahoma is that you have to draw a name out of a hat for the winner. It's not a spelling bee, it's not marksmanship. Either of those might be okay around here, especially in Carter County, I don't know. But they drew a name out of a hat. That means that literally half the people in Carter County do not like their sheriff. So that's problematic. What does that lead to? It leads to culture wars. The three, doors here say reading, homelessness, workforce. Those are all things that maybe we should be working on, but we're not. We're all reading the paper, or we did when Jenny Graham was there. We all read the paper, and we're hearing about all these other things that we're wondering, where did that come from? And that's where this comes from. It's this pandering to an extreme group. This is a slide that I don't know if it's going to work, but we will try. It describes the election system.
In a closed primary, voters are restricted to voting only in their party's primary. Republicans get a Republican ballot, Democrats get a Democratic ballot, and independents often can't vote at all. Under State Question 836, the system changes to an open primary. Instead of separate ballots, all candidates, Republican, Democrat, Libertarian, or Independent, appear together on one unified ballot. Voters, regardless of party, choose their favorite candidate. The top two vote getters, regardless of party, move on to the general election.
Okay, that's what happens. It was really loud, I'm so sorry. I guess we were at the Tulsa Chamber today. I think they must all be hard of hearing. So the solution we came up with after many polls, we polled every single type of reform. We are a nonpartisan group. We're looking for a nonpartisan solution to a systemic problem here. And we polled everything, and the winner was a single unified primary system. And here's how it works. You've seen the video. One primary ballot. No longer would we have separate pieces of paper. We would all go to vote. You don't have to tell anybody how you're registered, unless you just want to, and then you're free to do that. But you would approach the table, and you would show your ID, and they would hand us all the same piece of paper. And all of the candidates would be listed on it with the party affiliation indicated, and you would pick one person in every race, and it wouldn't matter how you're registered, it wouldn't matter how they're registered, you would pick the one person you think is best for the job, and that's it. The top two would go on to a general election. So you would have a second chance over a long period of time to get to know those two people, and then the person with the most votes wins. It would eliminate primary runoffs altogether, and so we would just not have to worry about those going forward. and all registered voters would be treated exactly the same. Which elections are affected by State Question 836? Federal, meaning U.S. House, U.S. Senate, all of the statewide offices, governor, senator, state house, county commissioner, clerk, sheriff. It would not affect the presidential election at all because we're not permitted to do that. I might have thought about it. School board already is nonpartisan, and all of the municipal elections in the entire state of Oklahoma are done very similarly to this, with a single ballot, and the top two would go on maybe to a runoff. So benefits of an open primary solution: it allows all voters to participate equally and vote for any candidate in every race, regardless of voter and candidate registration. It ends disenfranchisement. All the office holders are then accountable to their entire constituency, not just the fraction that voted for them in their primary. It incentivizes solutions, not division, and it lessens the impact of out-of-state money in primary elections. So those are the benefits. Where we are in the process right now, we have been through a lot. We filed in January this state question. It's a citizen petition. And then in May, the legislature passed and the governor signed a retroactive anti-citizen petition law intended to capture us because the state Republican Party found out that we were up to something and decided to shut us down. So they passed this Senate Bill 1027, which would have greatly increased the requirements for all citizen petitions going forward, not just us. We litigated that over the summer, and we won again, and we're ready to do signatures. I do want to make a note here. Our group is bipartisan back to front, and that is something that I think is very different. That makes us, I think, kind of harder to attack because we're not partisan in nature. We're not advocating for a position on a candidate or an issue. We just want a system that makes sense, is simple, and honors every single voter exactly the same. So our legal team consists of two of the three statewide experts in citizen petition law. Both of ours happen to be in Oklahoma City. The third guy declined. He just didn't even want to be part of it, which is great because he's not working for the opposition either. We have Melanie Regani at Crow Dunlevy. She's a very well-regarded citizen petition legal expert, and then she is teamed up with Robert McCampbell, who is traditionally a Republican legal counsel, also an expert in this. They're usually on different sides of issues, and I think it is fantastic to see them working together, and that is so powerful to us. And so all of our team, everyone, we don't care where you come from. I really don't even ask anymore. I don't care where you come from. We just need help. So we expect to be on the November 2026 ballot. That is our plan. We start with signature collection on October 29th. We have a launch. I'm going to tell you right now. We're not publicizing it widely. I've learned a lot. One of the things I've learned is that nefarious people will show up and intentionally forge signatures on a citizen petition. So it's a little tricky if you give them a lot of lead time. So because they'll get together with their little whatever group and they'll come and try to make trouble. So we don't want any trouble. We just want verified Oklahoma voters to know that they can come to Guthrie Green on lunchtime, October 29th, and they can be one of the first in the state of Oklahoma to sign this historic petition, I think. We'll also be doing a simultaneous signature gathering in Oklahoma City, downtown, and we would love to have every single person in this room show up, stand in line, get your John Hancock on there. So we're very excited about that. The fundraising has gone well. I'm not asking for money. I'm telling you, we're on it and we're working really hard on it. And if anyone wanted to talk to me about it separately, they're welcome to do that. So the entire campaign is extremely, very expensive. We're probably going to have to raise another $9 million. We're about $3 million raised. But good news, 89% of our donations are less than $1,000. What that tells our larger donors and all of you is that this really is truly grassroots. We have a lot of people come to our state fair booth and be like, where's that money coming from? Well, it's coming from us, okay? But a lot of people feel like this matters, and a lot of people have been looking for something to do, something permanent, something that will enable our children to stay here in Oklahoma and earn a living and be proud of where they're from. This is it, this thing. So the polling looks good. I already mentioned, we're getting up to 11,000 supporters. Polling is looking good. Signature collection is coming up. And like I said, we have people from all over the spectrum of political thought. Former Speaker of the House, Chris Steele, is in the Shawnee area. He's actually a minister. He's a Republican. He's enthusiastically supportive of this idea because he wants the state government to function without chaos and be focusing on the things that really matter to us instead of red herrings. Former Governor David Walters also is supportive of this. One of our petitioners for State Question 836 is a retired Coast Guard commander, Tony Stobie. Military people, more than half of them register independent. And I have a video that I'm putting together from the Tulsa State Fair. I think Catherine actually may have seen this young guy, Army veteran. I mean, just a great guy. And he said what they all say. I'm in the Army. I believe in Team America, not Team Red and Team Blue. And so I'm an independent. We have so many Air Force bases, Army bases in Oklahoma. We need to let those people be part of our community, and by giving them the right to vote and participate, just think of all the great things that we're going to be able to capture with them. Volunteering on boards and running for office perhaps, and all these other things when they feel like they matter. And of course the polling shows that the majority of people don't vote in Oklahoma because they don't think that they matter. They think their voices do not matter. And I love that we all try to register people to vote, but if we don't give anyone, give choices to voters, we're not giving anyone someone to vote for, then I have to question if the energy, we need to register people, but we've got to actually give someone, give them someone to vote for. That's the other part of that equation. So, obviously Jenny Graham, I'm very excited she's coming. You can ask her about this. She's very positive about this too. Mayor David Holt in Oklahoma City is a wonderful example of an advocate for us. Also State Labor Commissioner Leslie Osborne, Mayor G.T. Bynum has been, John Waldron is in favor of this. It's just a very common sense, we think, approach. So we're very excited about that. And that's the end. I think there was another slide, but it had to do with how to volunteer and all of that. I would be happy for all of you to go to voteyes836.com. We're starting our volunteer signature gathering training tomorrow. We have a 1-hour online training program that will be offered, the same program over and over and over. We have 3 of them scheduled for the next week, but they will be recurring. And we have 90 days to get signatures, so we are going to need lots of volunteers. We are trying to get into a lot of smaller towns, not because we're being forced to, but because we want to. Interestingly, I find this reform polls slightly higher in rural areas, smaller towns, than it does in urban areas. I'm not gonna try to explain why really. I think it's because, my experience, I think people in, agricultural worlds, they kind of believe in right and wrong and common sense. But my political consultant says it's because they skew older as voters, and they remember that 30, 40 years ago, it was the Republicans begging the Democrats for an open primary, and the Democrats refused. And now these people in the smaller towns think, well, it was wrong then, and it's still wrong. So that's his explanation. So we do have a lot of data and facts, and I'd love to share all of that with you, but you've had a very long night. So I'm going to take a few questions and then see where that goes. Yes, sir.
Does this have anything to do with like straight party voting as well? Would that be incorporated into this at all?
I love this. I love this question. So straight party voting, just so you know, I didn't really think it was a thing, but it is, and we've done some polling, and we understand why. I mean, I didn't understand why anybody would do that, but now I know from polling, the reason why Oklahomans want straight party voting is because they don't want to spend any time. I'm like, but voting is fun. I love voting. But apparently people want to run in, do one thing, and leave. This proposal would eliminate the ability to do that fully by presenting more than one person from a single party in the same race. So, for example, when Jim Inhofe left office, there were 13 Republicans running in his primary to replace him. And I personally had a very, very hard time finding one of them that I wanted to vote for. But if I were doing state question 836 and an open primary, I would not be able to use that straight party Republican and fail to vote in that primary. I would have to select a candidate. If you do not do that, then you're deemed not to have voted in that race.
So straight party voting would still apply in the general election, but this is the primary that
Correct,
you're talking
correct.
about.
Where 94% of it is determined anyway. So
Right.
yeah, but it would eliminate a lot of that, I think. Yes. Yes, sir.
Who is organized against this and why?
Well, this is another fascinating thing. So in the state of New York, they have the same system we use. State of New York uses exactly the same closed primary system we have. In the state of New York, it is the Democrat Party opposing reform there. And there are some people trying to get an open primary in the state of New York for the same reasons. But it's the Democrats. It's always the party in charge. They do not want to change it because they want to maintain control. That's just how that is. So our opposition here primarily, it's really hard to tell. I'm not online. I don't, who has the time? So, but I think that there is a very small group of people who have been enlisted to do some online kind of chatter stuff. That doesn't really concern me a lot. The state Republican Party was the plaintiff in the challenge to our proposal, which they lost. I don't think they're a strong opponent either, personally. For various reasons, I think it's kind of performative on their part. The OCPA, which I've never heard of, I don't know, who's heard of the OCPA? Okay, it's a thing. I've never heard of it. Oklahoma Council for Public Affairs, based in New York. Based in Oklahoma City. Same thing, I don't know. But they're based in Oklahoma City. It is kind of a policy group wrapped in Heritage Foundation. Yeah. Yes, ma'am.
So the lawsuit over, is it one completely, it's not going higher? they're not keeping bumping it up to,
Okay, so we had 2 lawsuits and a legal challenge. So we basically had 3 cases we had to work on. The first case was the state party's objection to our state question. That was argued with the Oklahoma State Supreme Court in June, and we won that 8-0. Okay. And then there were 2 lawsuits filed, including our plaintiffs, our petitioners, on Senate Bill 1027. One of those was seeking relief only because of the retroactivity. And so we carved that out and we said, you can't apply 1027 to us because we were already on file. We were already in process. We got an order on that, a temporary order, but the temporary order says 1027 shall not apply to State Question 836. So we feel very strong about that. The third case is the question of constitutionality of 1027. Our plaintiffs are still in that case. It's scheduled to be argued by the state Supreme Court in a public argument. You can go to Oklahoma City and watch, and I urge you to do it because it's fun. And take your kids and your grandkids because the judges love it. It will be on November 18th. And you can live stream it, which is also fun. Well, maybe not for some people, but anyway, that's going to be argued. There are a lot of amicus briefs filed in that case. It has attracted some considerable attention. We feel very, very strong about that as well. So, and our lawyers are still involved in all these cases. So, but the state question is moving on, and we got a green light, and we're going.
okay.
Yeah.
I just wanted to know where it was, because I thought there was still something else.
Yeah.
Thank you.
We're happy to be part of that, right? I mean, because Oklahoma United is about the voice of the people. And when I went to the state Supreme Court for the first argument in June, and I saw that inscribed in stone on the wall of our Capitol is an expression from the then chief of the Supreme Court for the state of Oklahoma when the cornerstone was laid for the Capitol in, I think, 1910, saying that all power is inherent in the people. And, it is, don't mess with that. They've already kind of changed the rules on citizen petitions and made it very, very hard. We have the shortest signature gathering period in the entire country. We have only 90 days. Some states, 2 states do not expire. You can keep collecting signatures in Ohio till you die. I mean, just good luck to you. We have 90 days. The median is about 18 months. And so while they've increased the challenge abilities for these opposers, the naysayers, they did not expand the signature time. So we are navigating this. We're happy that we do have a little bit of an example with the minimum wage thing, same kinds of challenges, same rules. We're just delighted. When we got that decision about 1027 not applying to us, it basically was as if I had raised $2 million. That was the differential there for us. So it was a good day. Yeah. Any other questions? Yes, sir.
How many signatures do you need?
173,000 verified petition signatures are required for a constitutional amendment, which is what we're doing. We did actually think about doing, every single bit of what I have presented has been debated exhaustively and polled and researched. We thought about doing a statutory amendment, but no one wanted to do that because, number one, it's the right to vote. It should be maybe in our Constitution. Number two, we don't trust our legislature. I've already told you they pull in the 30% favorability. So nobody likes them, nobody trusts them, and our stakeholders were like, no, we're not doing that. So we're going forward. Any other questions? Yes, the middle. Oh, yeah, you.
Why was that included in the original state constitution?
I'm sorry, I didn't.
Why, this, what
Right, so when every state, it has the ability to determine its own election system for state offices. And the state of Oklahoma just decided to make their own rules about parties. Back then in 1907, maybe this looked like it was a good idea, and it was never considered, it was considered more of a ministerial process. Clearly, there are questions about the constitutional right to vote, and I think this all kind of begs the question of taxation without representation, personally. Okay, so if you're an independent and you're paying taxes like everybody else, I think there is some room for litigation on that, but you know, for various reasons, at the time we formed our Constitution in the state of Oklahoma, when Theodore Roosevelt was still president, my favorite president, by the way. You know, it was an era of populism. I don't think that, you know, people felt that there was another alternative, and so that's how we got set up, and then everybody got used to it, and that's what we have today. Yes, Susan?
Margaret, is there any way to check if people who are signing the petition are actual registered voters?
Yes, and I love that question. We are hoping that our volunteers are going to be able to, one of them will be on the phone and check the voter portal while someone is preparing to sign. So we're really hoping that that we can have a buddy system with our signature gatherers. I don't know what the professional people will do. I think they calculate their gathering goals with an assumption based on other states of how, you know, which ones are not going to be verified. They have a very elaborate system every single night. They're gonna load all those signatures up, even ours that we turn in, and that way we all know every single day, starting October 29th, we'll know how many do we have, how many are checking out, and we'll be able to adjust as needed on that. Catherine?
With the concept of possibility of purging voter rolls, when we're collecting signatures, it would be a double good idea to confirm that the sign-up is registered and the status of their registration at the time. Would that work?
Yes, and I think if you go to the voter portal, they say that the volunteer signatures always have a much higher rate of verification than the professionals. And I think it's probably for that reason. Because honestly, you guys are probably gonna go to kind of where you know some people, I mean, and they're not gonna fudge with you. You know, the people in the Reese's parking lot, you know, I don't know if what the valid signature rate is of that. But I know that our people, our grassroots people, I mean, we've been in Weatherford, Enid, Shawnee, Ardmore, Claremore, and talk about coalition building. That is 100% what we've been doing for 5 years. And my hope is that what we're developing right now, this nonpartisan thing, if it succeeds, then maybe we go on to the next thing together. You know, I just think this is a really exciting project to be working on, and I hope you're all gonna be part of it. Yes, ma'am?
Would there be a way to sign that petition online? Like I personally, because of where I work, there's no way I could get.
You just call me and I'll come to you.
Yeah.
It has to be on paper because that's the way we are. And oh yeah. So starting October 29th, if you're in Tulsa County, you're not going to be able to avoid these people, I think. So you're going to find them. Yes. Yeah. So what we have is our database is built so that we can notify our supporters of how and when to find us. There won't be a lot of notice on there because I think there are some trolls, you know, that we've accumulated along the way. So, 24 hours, we're gonna be at the farmer's market, come on down. But seriously, all of the emails on Oklahoma United and Vote Yes 836, if it says info at, I get it. Like, I get it. So, email me, and we will hook you up. And we love the idea of, you have some friends in your workplace and all of that.
We will have a petition at the next meeting on November 21st, I guarantee you. And for everybody. And I just want to say, the first experience I had with Indivisible was getting the Medicaid expansion petition signed and put on the ballot. And we got it signed, we got it put on the ballot, and we knocked doors. And that Medicaid expansion passed by less than 1 vote per precinct. So everybody's volunteer efforts count, every signature counts, every vote counts. And we can do it if we just really, really work hard.
Thank you so much. Yes, sir.
I just wonder, maybe I'm not paying a whole lot of attention. I haven't seen this.
It hasn't started yet.
No, not the signatures. I'm saying I haven't seen 836. Where are you publicizing? Where is
We've
it
been
out there
running
for people?
tons of op-eds in all the papers for about 2 years.
Most people I know don't take the paper.
Yeah.
They're
It's been all
they're
over social
online.
media.
Yeah.
It's been all
We-
over.
Has it?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I would like to know where you go, because I want to go there now.
That's why we had you here.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I mean,
Facebook.
I seriously, every single time I see new people, I tell people I'm a surprisingly good listener. So, I really want to know, where do you go? I would love to have billboards. I want a plane with a banner. I mean, like, I'm not kidding, I want that kind of stuff.
$1,500 for a month.
Yeah, and by the way, we have to secure it right away, because when this campaign gets going, it'll be election season, all the prices go up and all the space is gone. So, yeah, so we need to be fundraising for that too. Yes.
Why do you call this a nonpartisan race, our election? If you're lucky enough to have a representative from both of the top parties at the general election, they're still gonna represent their party once they're in office. And if you call it a nonpartisan and listing it without, listing the names without parties,
Yeah.
there's a lot of politically uneducated people that are gonna vote by what name they heard the most, not what that person represents.
Yeah,
So
so
why wouldn't you wanna put the party names alongside it?
we put the party names on there because it improves the polling. Okay, like when we pulled this, it gave us a slight, like 1%, 2% edge, which in any campaign is a lot. So people in Oklahoma want to see the letter. They do. Now, how it's gonna work in reality is, I can tell you a very practical story. There is a really good Tulsa city councilor, Phil Lakin, okay? He's wildly popular in his district. He is a centrist. He has told me that people have asked, why don't you run for something else? Do you have ambitions? And he said, Margaret, I will never, ever, ever run for another office. I love my job. I just want to do this because it is a nonpartisan election system. He says, I know that if I ran in a party-driven system, at some point, I would be pulled into a room, they would close the door, and they would tell me how I had to vote. And I wouldn't be able to do what my constituents all want. I would have to do what they tell me to do. And I just think that's a very chilling thing. We need better people running for office, more people running for office. We're not gonna have some kind of, strange, chaotic thing. Everybody in Oklahoma is too busy trying to pay their bills to run for office for the most part. But I do think that this reform is going to open the door for people like that to consider running for another office.
But you're assuming that there's a whole lot of people like that. and
No,
there's not.
they're not.
That's why I wish the offices for judges weren't nonpartisan, because there's a lot of judges out there that are making Republican choices right now.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know, I can't really get into that right now, but I have some theories on why you would be seeing that. Yeah, for sure.
Well,
Yeah.
I'm not gonna discuss it with you after.
Yeah, I'd love that, yeah. Any other questions? Yes, ma'am.
I'm kind of curious about what this does to maybe gerrymandering. Does it make it kind of ineffective, or?
Over time, I was just reading some research on that this morning. Over time, it opens the door to a conversation in a legislature and among the people for reform of gerrymandering, okay? It does that by two ways. Number one, it gives every single voter in a district a voice, and they all magically matter to the elected officials. So if this group of people in here said, we want an independent districting commission, then your elected representative would have to start listening to you. They don't currently have to do that. Number two, the legislature is going to be rewarded and motivated to produce, positive things that the majority of people want. So it does open the door. That's why I love this reform, is because any single thing that you're trying to fix has to start by including all our voters. That's it. Like, we got to bring the people to the fight. They've been shut out. They're frustrated, exhausted. We need to give them hope, and this is hope right now. Yes. Okay. One more.
Yeah, if we're trying to, I guess every year or every business or every election cycle, it would change everything, okay, and I guess, what you're saying is not that we engage, not that we increase people's engagement, not that we go every single time we have an election, drag in all those extra people, because we ask that, we don't have to do that, right?
Yes. G.T. Bynum told me early on, he was at a panel a couple of years ago, and he said, this is math. If you want more people to vote, you need to let more people vote. It's math. So we're going to let everybody vote, and I can't tell you what the outcomes are going to be. All I know is that we can all walk away from it knowing that it was fair, everybody had their chance, and we're going to move on. That's all I have. So, thank you.